If you can't focus for more than 5 minutes. If you open your phone for just a second, and suddenly it's been 2 hours. If you start things with motivation and abandon them halfway, this might genuinely change your life. Because I used to live like that, every single day. And what I discovered is that it's not your fault. But here's the scary part. The reason you can't focus anymore is something most people don't even realize is happening to them. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let me describe a normal day for me back then. I would wake up already tired, pick up my phone, just to check one thing, a notification, then another, then a video, then suddenly, I'm 30 minutes deep into scrolling, and I haven't even gotten out of bed. I'd tell myself, okay, enough. Today will be different. I'd sit down to work or study, open my laptop, and within minutes, I'd feel this uncomfortable pressure in my chest, like my brain was resisting. So I'd switch tabs, check something, watch something, eat something, anything except focus. And the worst part, it wasn't laziness, because I wanted to do things. I had goals, ideas, dreams, but every time I tried, my brain just wouldn't cooperate. I kept thinking, what's wrong with me? Why is everyone else able to focus, but not me? Am I just weak? And that question slowly starts destroying your confidence. But then something happened. Not a big moment. Not some life-changing event. Just a small realization. That completely flipped how I understood my brain. Here's the truth no one tells you. You don't have a focus problem. You have a stimulation problem. Your brain has been trained to expect constant dopamine. Every time you scroll, switch apps, watch short videos, check notifications, you're giving your brain a hit. Quick, easy, effortless. And over time, your brain adapts. So when you sit down to do something hard, like studying, reading, or working, your brain goes, this is too slow. This is boring. Give me something faster. Not because you're lazy, but because your brain has been rewired. So the question becomes, how do you reverse something like that? How do you fix your attention span when it feels completely broken? Step 1 is the hardest, and most people skip it. That's why they never fix their focus. You have to reduce stimulation. Not completely, but intentionally. What I did first was something very simple. I stopped letting my phone control my mornings. For the first hour after waking up, no scrolling, no social media, no random content, because the first hour of your day sets your brain's expectation for the rest of it. If you start your day with chaos, your brain stays chaotic. If you start your day with calm, your brain stays calmer. At first, it felt uncomfortable, like something was missing. That's how you know it's working. Here's something most people don't understand. Focus is not something you have or don't have. It's a muscle, and yours has been weakened. So instead of trying to focus for hours, I did the opposite. I started with just 10 minutes. That's it. 10 minutes of full focus. No phone, no switching tabs, no distractions. Then a break. And during the break, I didn't scroll, because scrolling resets your brain back to chaos. After a few days, 10 minutes became easier, then 15, then 20. You don't force focus. You build it. Here's a truth most people ignore. Your environment controls your behavior more than your motivation ever will. So I stopped relying on willpower and started designing my environment. I kept my phone out of reach. I closed unnecessary tabs. I created a clean workspace, because every small distraction is a decision your brain has to fight. And eventually, it loses. Remove the temptation, and you remove the struggle. This is where things started to change fast. I replaced high dopamine habits with low dopamine ones. Instead of scrolling, I went for walks. Watching videos, I listened to music. Constant stimulation, I sat in silence. Because your brain needs to relearn how to enjoy simple things again. Boredom is not your enemy. It's the beginning of focus. Let me be honest with you here. This part, most people won't do it. Not because it's complicated, but because it feels uncomfortable. When you remove stimulation, you're left alone with your thoughts. No distractions, no noise, no escape. And that's when things surface. Overthinking, anxiety, self-doubt. So what do most people do? They go right back to their phone. Not because they want entertainment, but because they want relief. And if you don't understand this, you'll keep relapsing into distraction again and again. So instead of running from that discomfort, I learned to sit with it. At first, it felt unbearable. Even 2 minutes of silence felt long. But slowly, my brain started calming down. Focus doesn't come from forcing your brain to work harder. It comes from teaching your brain to be okay with stillness. This step is critical, because this is where most people fail. They think, if I can't focus perfectly, what's the point? So they quit. But progress doesn't look like perfection. It looks like focusing for 5 minutes today, 7 minutes tomorrow, failing, then trying again. You don't need perfect focus. You need consistent effort. There were days where I felt like I was back at zero. Days where I scrolled for hours, avoided everything, felt that same frustration again. And in those moments, it's very easy to think, I've failed. But that's the trap. Because fixing your attention span is not a straight line. It's messy. It's inconsistent. It's human. The difference is, I stopped seeing those days as failure and started seeing them as part of the process. Because every time you try again, you're still moving forward, even if it doesn't feel like it. After a few weeks, something strange happened. Focusing started to feel easier. Not perfect, but different. I could sit longer without distractions. I didn't crave my phone as much. My mind felt quieter. And for the first time in a long time, I felt in control again. If you take one thing from this, let it be this. You are not broken. You were just never taught how your brain actually works. And in a world designed to distract you, losing focus is not a personal failure. It's the default. But the moment you understand that, you take your power back. You stop blaming yourself. And you start rebuilding yourself. Slowly, patiently, day by day. So don't try to change everything overnight. Don't chase perfection. Just start small. 10 minutes of focus. 1 less distraction. 1 better decision. That's how it starts. Because the version of you who can focus, who can finish things, who can actually build the life you want, is not someone you need to become. It's someone you're returning to.